Hey everybody, it's Ava Cherie, and I'm coming back to my Fibro Fighter and Chronic Pain Chronicles. I've actually been down for a while. I've been having severe episodes of migraines and numbing sensations with my mobility on my whole left side has been restricted. And at some points in times, I couldn't even feel my left arm, my face. I have experienced a TIA probably 4 years ago on Halloween. One night when I was working on my computer, I was writing my first book and just finishing some stuff and getting ready for, whatever was to come. And I just started getting weak. I started getting numb, incoherent, just felt bizarre, spacey. I was off balance. I closed down my laptop and I was at the table in front of everyone in my family, and I just closed down my laptop and was like, hey, help me take this. I'm going upstairs to my room. I'm feeling off. And literally I knew everything was shutting down. It was collapsing like a deck of cards. So here lately I've been experiencing severe migraines. I have not had Botox or injections. You guys know I went from 66 injections to 33. And I haven't gotten my injections twice since the pandemic. I was scheduled to get some in March or April, and then it's my second dose is coming up in July. And for the looks of it, I probably won't be getting that as well. And it's okay. If you guys can remember, I wanted to go natural anyway, but just knowing how severe chronic pain is from being off of every kind of med and taking things naturally. I do natural oils. I have my own natural oil line coming out that I actually administer recipes for people for eczema and certain things. Just, like all the oils are multi-use. And I started that journey probably 3 years ago of just researching natural healing, vitamins, talking to my neurologist about getting off meds, still intermediately getting back on the injections and stuff like that, finding out I had fibro, all of this simultaneously. So since I found out I had fibro, since I didn't like injections but still had to go a year before I could see the difference, before I can get off of it, I started to behind the scenes for myself, for my long-term health, make sure I had a backup plan to my holistic regimen. And that was just something I chose to do, especially since especially when I had mentioned to my neurologist that I decided to try to take a natural route, and she mentioned to me to make sure I had magnesium, coenzyme 10, and B2 in my vitamin daily regimen, because it's supposed to help alleviate and cut down some of the symptoms. So once I realized that vitamins was suitable to help treat or help with your day-to-day, I realized that it's a lot more out there that I could do outside of medication and injections. So this is not a fly by my seat, unauthorized, or I conferred with my doctors about a lot of things, because this combination of nerve damage, this combination of two disorders attacking my nerves is very severe for any one of us going through it. Sure, I'm a believer. Sure, I have faith, and sure, I pray. I actually am into healing as well. All that to say, I even try to lay hands on myself. They always say lay hands on yourself, but it's been hard because your mind and body has to be in alignment and free. And if your emphasis is on that tremendous pain that each person goes through independently, it's hard to settle your nerves, which I have a autoimmune nervous system disorder. It's hard to settle your nerves and not think about where the pain is penetrating, to zoom in and lay hands on your crown, on different parts of your body, to elevate your mood. Sometimes for me, it's just, I would prefer if I had somebody to come along and do it for me, because it's so hard. I mean, God shows me people's pain and trigger points in their bodies. The Holy Spirit directs me to lay hands on certain areas of people's bodies. But when it comes to me and this physical flesh and this pain, I have not disconnected enough to be able to subside my own pain, unfortunately. And I believe that when God gifts us, sometimes our gifts aren't always for us. Of course, we know that they're not. Like literally, you have to be a selfless leader, a selfless servant, and give of yourself. And sometimes, wait for God to send somebody to do it for you. So I'm in different multiple lanes, and I understand the process of things, but I have been in tremendous pain. It's to the point where this is probably the 8th consecutive day of a severe migraine where it's shutting down my mobility on my left side. Of course, I try not to think about the worst, but I have to sometimes sit and say, wow, this is not cool. Like, this hurts tremendously, profusely. This hurts to the point where I can understand, if it had not been for God's grace, the lanes that I've been in, for the professional and personal experience I've had, education I've had, jobs I've had, if it hadn't been for the Lord, who was always by my side to carry me through those journeys, maybe I would have not been here and or processed it a lot worse. Because when I get to a funk about the pain levels and the inability to do what I desire to do, not want to do what I'm purposed to do, sometimes I can't talk. Sometimes, like this last week, 8 days, I couldn't write. I'm not a lefty, but I can't type. I couldn't formulate. I could not speak. I'm a vlogger. I'm a broadcaster. But it never took away my personal power to pray. It never stripped me from my personal power to have faith, to speak it. It did make it a little harder when you're in tears, when you're crying out, when you're conveying to your loved ones what it is that you're going through. You try not to have a misunderstanding in the midst of your pain. You're trying not to be misunderstood, yet you're trying to be heard. You're trying to ask for help, but you don't even know the waves, the frequency of waves that it's going to come in. So it's like, I thought you was good, but now you're not. I thought you was standing up, but now you fell down. It goes like that. And I'm just coming to let you guys know I truly can relate. And the Fibro Fighter and Chronic Pain Chronicles is dear to me. My mother was in tears Thursday, Friday when I told her what, feedback I got from the doctors. And she don't cry a lot, and not at all. I probably can count on one hand all the times I've seen her cry. And just to know, like, it's real. I'm not a young kid anymore. I'm not a young adult anymore. I'm not old. I'm not leaving here. I'm in a place of evolution and reality that I need to continually climb higher and stress lesser. And my days of stressing are numbered. So to any person out there trying to understand how to live in havoc, stress, chaos, discord, disharmony, evil, hatred, anything bitter that's on your heart, strive just that much more harder to release it. Because this Fibro Fighter and Chronic Pain Chronicle is my diary behind the author, the diary behind Ava Cherie Publishing, the owner of that, the diary behind One Touch Outreach Ministries, the founder of that, the diary behind Community Bricklayers Broadcast and Podcast, the Advocate. This is my diary behind all of these entities of who I am as Ava Cherie. And this is a large component to all those entities, because if this component right here, this right here doesn't line up, those components are non-existent, non-factors, and totally irrelevant. Because if this doesn't line up, none of that will exist. So remember what we focus on, where we choose to spend our energy, how we choose to reclaim good energy, how we fight, what kind of fight we fight against negative energy, especially when you have ongoing pre-existing issues. If someone doesn't understand the severity and the complexity to what it is you're trying to say hurts you, you need to mute them in your life. You can't afford to go back and forth about stress that's stressing you. The back and forth is the predicator to stress. Just trying to figure out how to go back and forth with this person to convey, or this job, or these people, or this set of people, group of people, whoever and whatever it is. If your heart is still pure despite what you're going through, and you have to find yourself in a going of back and forth about what's paining you now, cut it off. I spend way too much time trying to prepare, package, and plan how I'm going to approach how something affects me, what someone does to me, and what I'm trying to say about it. I'm not defending anything and governing anything but myself. Anything over that is stress when you're already dealing with a pre-existing health issue or issues. It's null and void. When you laying flat on your back, people are going to have their time to go live their life, continue on, not give a shit, and not come back for you. Or they're going to watch you. They're going to still do the same thing. We have to be very selective and really pre-screen and pre-choose our battles. Like literally. Because time waits for no one. It doesn't wait for someone to say, oh, I didn't realize it was that bad. Now I see you in the hospital. It doesn't wait for someone to come back and say they're sorry. It doesn't wait for clear understanding. Your process will continue to move on. How we react to the process is the most important thing when we're in pain, when we're in discomfort, when it's an open acknowledgement that something else is going on that's going to really, really drastically affect your health and your well-being. You didn't ask for it. These pre-existing issues for me, it wasn't because I drank, it wasn't because I smoked, it wasn't because I did this. It's because it just is at this time. Do I believe I'm going to be totally healed? Absolutely, I'm already healed. I believe that I have to go through this process to be able to identify, to be able to understand patience, to be able to understand that I don't need the stress, to be able to understand that there's more to life than everybody else that I serve. I have to serve Avis, and this has been the hardest part in my life. So if I can offer anything, is learn how to turn the servitude towards yourself. Before your deathbed, before the prognosis, before the diagnosis, turn the servant leadership lifestyle, the selfless lifestyle on yourself. Make sure that you get a slice of selflessness to you and don't wait on nobody to give it to you. Make sure that you get that turned back to you because you deserve it. Don't wait on reciprocity from everywhere else. Give it back to yourself. Feed it back to your spirit. Feed it back to your heart. Feed it back to your mind. Saturate in your spirit with that. And your spirit will reward you before anybody else will. Your body will reward you before anybody else will. I'm telling you because I'm telling myself. I'm talking straight into this camera to myself at this place where I'm at in my life. And I know anybody that has the time, that has sat through this vlog, will identify, can identify, and I pray to God this touches your whole heart. I pray that God is scrubbing down every part of dirt and filth and hardness and anything that you feel is opposite of Him, anything that you feel is holding you back, any hurt and pain and depression that has mounted up on top of your pain in your physical, in your fleshly body. I pray that God is alleviating and cutting it off right now. I'm talking about cutting away the dead weight, cutting away the unrest, cutting away the disturbance of your peace, cutting away anything that's contradictory to what He says to you in your spirit, in your prayers, how He's answering you. If it's anything that's opposite of that, cutting it away right now, because it's absolutely necessary for you to live a selfless life for you. So turn that back to you. When you get ready to serve and your hands are outstretched to everyone else, take it from me. I have learned the hard way that I have to relearn and rethink what I thought I knew, and that is serving myself first. I always say unapologetically do you. I always say unselfishly take time for you, but literally being immobilized, I know it's God's hand because I know I am chosen. When He stops you, it could be permanent. How long before it happens is up to us. And it's up to God first, but it's up to us while we're here to live the best, fly at the highest altitude, and do the best we can to serve ourselves and others. And get yourself in there with the others. It's absolutely necessary. Been running a rat race for everybody else and have no idea how to do it for me. So I wanted to come because I'm never going to come on a Fibro Fighter and Chronic Pain Chronicles and give a half-ass explanation of pain, a half-ass explanation or smoke screen of this is how we do it, because sometimes that ain't how we do it. I was doing it all wrong, and I'm walking right along with the next person trying to relearn, not my expertise, not my education, not what I was trained, not what I have taken on. I'm learning to retrain myself about me, because what affects me at this age definitely didn't affect me the same way 20 years ago. It is of the utmost importance that you take this piece of nugget today and apply it to your life. Selflessly serve yourself. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't give an explanation on serving you. You have to. Because it can be a day and time that you didn't take that moment. And it could be another day and time for something else to happen. You want to live taking your last breath saying, yo, I turned this around. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a lot better being on the other side of it than leaving here in the midst of something that I kind of had some control into. God empowers us. He gives us choice. He gives us the desires of our heart. Put it in let's restore our hearts to the desire to be healthy, to the desire to be whole, desire to be trusting of our own intuition, to the desire of having our faith restored and recalibrated, to the desire to align our heart with our purpose and our God, to align ourselves with prayer. Just let's do some things and shake down some stuff. And I'm telling you, it's hard. I know. I don't know. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk hardly. I couldn't talk hardly. I couldn't do anything. And these are just the up moments of my pain. Right now, I took my up moment of zero pain at this hour, coming to a vlog, because I know this pain is not for me. This victory is not for me. This healing is not just for me. This is for everyone who is in a dark place in the midst of whatever it is that God is tearing you through. You have to tarry sometime. He's going to carry, but you have to tarry in places sometime. Some uncomfortable places sometime. We all experience discomfort when we're tarrying, when God has us somewhere in an unknown situation, in an unknown place, in an unknown way, in disposition. But we have to know that He's going to cover us. But we still got to put our armor on. Ain't that something? You got to carry that armor on top of that pain. My God. But God is able to do all things. God's supernatural strength and ability that He has shared amongst us, His children, His chosen, ain't nothing like it. You got to get in there and get it and hold on to it with no negotiation by any means necessary. All right? I will be back with a vlog when it's absolutely necessary to come. I have been in extreme pain. I am at 70%. Which is greater than being at 15 and 10 where I've been for 8 days. So God is good. Grasp and enjoy the intermediate parts of smiling and TV and laughter. And I tried to stay as sturdy as I could. And sometimes, and what that meant for me was shutting down and not saying a word. I didn't speak for days. I spoke very minimally. And listen, it is what it is. It felt good. I was resting every piece of my brain. And that's what it takes. That's the start of it. Letting God release those things that's irrelevant and letting Him download His peace, His sovereignty into your situation. You have to open your brain and your crown up for Him to make room. We always trying to figure it out ourselves. It was a many nights God spoke to me in that process. And I have to know that, God, your will be done. I have to speak it to Him. I have to know that He got me, irregardless to what it feels like. Irregardless, I know that He's allowing things to happen to check me. So I am His. So, and that's what we got to remember. So I hope this finds you in good health. I know it will restore some points to you and put you in a perfect peace along with prayer and God. I aspire to just give of myself to you to share along this journey so that we both can collab, get to a place where we have the victory, get to a place where we can continue our momentum and our purpose. And until next time, rest on it, rewind it, share it, replay it, share it, focus, and live your best life, okay? I'm Ava Cherie. This is Fibro, Fighter, and Chronic Pain Chronicles. See you next time.